thought you were dead.
What happened with you and Tommy?
Did you sleep with her?
Stop it.
You gonna shoot me?
Welcome to Screen Recaps, and today we are going to recapping the movie Brothers. On October 7th, 2007, Captain Sam Cale of the U.S. Marine Corps prepares for his deployment to Afghanistan. He writes a heartfelt letter to his wife, Grace, entrusting it to Major Cavazos to give to her if he ever dies in duty. Meanwhile, Grace raises their two daughters, Isabel and Maggie. The next day, Sam reunites with his recently released brother, Tommy. Despite Grace's disapproval, Tommy is welcomed inside with flowers. However, tension arises when their father, Hank, highlights the contrast between Sam's success as the father brings up a prison-related topic that angers his son. Hank disgustedly leaves while the others process the situation. Later, Tommy advises Sam to stay safe in Afghanistan. On October 12, 2007, Sam and his men are shot down in Helmand Province, some falling into the sea. The U.S. government declares them killed in action. Two Marines visit Grace's house, interrupting her bath, to deliver the tragic news. She breaks down in shock and copes by watching home movies of her husband together with the kids and trying to call Sam's phone, hoping he will pick up. Suddenly, Tommy drops by her house to return Sam's truck. As he explains that his brother lets him borrow the car anytime, she tells him Sam is dead. Shocked and frustrated, he angrily throws the keys on the ground that no one called him about it. Afterward, he stops by his parents' house seeking solace, finding comfort in his mother's sympathy, but he declines his father's offer of a drink. Grace helps her children prepare for Sam's funeral, embracing Maggie's sadness. Major Cavazos offers his condolences and gives Grace a heartfelt letter from Sam. Hank drowns his sorrows in alcohol after the funeral, but Tommy stops him from driving drunk. Tempers flare as Tommy blames Hank for influencing Sam's choices, and Elsie intervenes to break up the fight. Surprisingly, Sam and Joe survive the crash, but are captured by Taliban fighters. They are forced to trek through the desert and held captive in a pit, unsure of their fate. Later, Sam warns Joe not to reveal any information to the Taliban, fearing interrogation or even death. Joe becomes anxious about being starved or killed. Late at night, Tommy calls Grace from a bar and grill, asking for a ride as he is drunk and unable to pay for his expensive drinks. The owner threatens to involve his parole officers. Despite being frustrated, Grace goes to the bar and pays his $47 debt. The next day, Tommy wakes up to find the children making pancakes for their mother. His parents arrive, giving him a chance to reconcile with his father. They reminisce about their childhood and Hank gets emotional. Later, the soldiers find a rescue helicopter and try to escape by breaking the wooden barricade. A Taliban member aims his gun at them through the barricade. The day after, Tommy surprises Grace by hiring workers to renovate the kitchen. Grace is slightly annoyed, but accepts the gesture and offers refreshments. After a discussion among bandits, they are freed from the pit and brought before their leader, Yusuf. They witness a local man's tragic death while being recorded by another Taliban member. Yusuf, through a translator, tells them they are unwelcome in Afghanistan and forces them to make a recorded message against the American government. They are then taken to a cavern against his orders. Meanwhile, Grace checks on the remodeling and finds Isabel, Maggie, and Uncle Tommy bonding and discussing Sam. Maggie accidentally spills paint on one of the workers, but he forgives her. Grace gets a clean shirt for Owen from Sam's closet. Afterward, they relax with beer and conversation. She offers Owen Sam's old clothes. Grace's pained expression reminds her of Sam. Meanwhile, Sam is brought before Joe, who has been brutally tortured. Sam pleads with Joe not to reveal information. Unfortunately, later that evening, the interpreter shows him a recording of Joe on the camera stating that it was incorrect for them to retake Afghanistan because its people rightfully own it. Later, Sam is also coerced into making a video admitting their mistake in reclaiming Afghanistan. In the U.S., a surprise birthday celebration is planned for Grace. They gather to celebrate, lighting up the cake and singing "Happy Birthday." Grace is deeply moved by their efforts in Sam's absence. The next day, Grace takes the children to an ice skating rink with Tommy, where they all have a great time. Isabel admits feeling envious of Maggie's attention, but he tells her not to feel that way, as he never liked being compared to his brother. Tommy confronts the bank teller he tried to rob and apologizes for causing her trauma. She appreciates his gesture and offers him the chance to open a bank account. Tommy and Grace bond over cigarettes. After teasing each other, Tommy and Grace share a kiss. Grace feels remorseful and steps outside while Tommy leaves the house, crying. Grace struggles to open a letter from Sam. Sam is brought before an injured Joe by their captors. A young boy gives him a pipe, and Yusuf orders him to beat Joe to death. Reluctant at first, when the translator threatens him with a gun and the crowd mocks him, Sam is forced to comply. This violent act deeply scars him mentally as he is taken back to the cavern. But the next morning she welcomes Tommy back to help with kitchen cabinets. His father arrives and is impressed with his work. The next day, an American rescue team miraculously finds Sam. Helicopters swarm the area as the translator tries to kill Sam but is shot down. The soldiers find Sam barely able to speak due to the trauma he endured. Back home, the children play in the snow with their uncle when Grace receives an urgent call informing her that Sam has survived. Overwhelmed, she breaks down in tears and shares the news with Tommy. They rush to the base and witness an aircraft safely bringing Sam back home. Upon reuniting with his family, including Tommy who has a secret, he discovers a beautifully renovated kitchen and thanks his daughters before retiring to his bedroom. Grace notices his odd behavior while shaving, and his father hopes he will open up. Concerned for his brother, Tommy sits with him. Suddenly, Sam asks him directly if he had made love with Grace. Tommy denies being intimate with Grace. Cassie, Joe's wife, visits and expresses her hatred towards Sam for being alive, asking if he has news about her missing husband, but he denies having any information. Additional PTSD symptoms are evident as he arranges cups and arms himself upon hearing a noise. At the military base, he expresses desire to return to duty, but says it will take more time since he is still recovering mentally. Upset by a joke by Maggie, he retreats to the bedroom, prompting Grace to check on him. Suspecting an affair, she confesses to only kissing Tommy. Skeptical, he leaves angrily to reflect at Joe's grave. On Maggie's birthday, Tommy arrives with a date. Sam bursts Isabel's balloon in frustration, leading her to angrily claims that Tommy and Grace are having an affair and wishes he remained dead. Maggie continues to express disdain for his father and insists Grace should stay with her uncle. Paranoia intensifies, leading Sam to destroy the kitchen in rage. Tommy senses danger. He tries to calm his brother down but ends up making the situation worse by reaching for his gun. As the police arrive, Sam fires a shot into air and points his gun to his own head, contemplating suicide. After several pleas from Tommy and Grace, he surrenders and reveals his mental instability. Grace opens the letter Sam left her, saying he will always think about her and her children. Tommy and Sam reconcile over the phone. After being released from a mental hospital, Grace gives Sam an ultimatum. Sam confesses to killing Private Joe and Grace embraces him. Sam questions whether he can live a normal life after enduring everything he has.
I thought I was